Jesus saying, before Abraham was born, I was always prophesied as the Messiah.
One of the most respected Muslim theologians acknowledges John 8 verse 58 points to Jesus' claim of pre-existence and divinity. Welcome to the channel. Today we're talking about the Orthodox Muslim again, and his attempt to explain away one of the most powerful claims Jesus ever made. Before Abraham was, I am, in John 8 verse 58. Check out how he attempts to explain it away.
What is Jesus saying? What is he saying? What does it mean that Abraham rejoiced at the thought of seeing Jesus? He saw his day and he was glad. What does that mean?
Well, maybe he saw the prophecy of Jesus Christ.
Good. Abraham knew about Jesus coming. He had vision of it.
Yeah, but the entire Old Testament is speaking about the coming of Jesus Christ.
Good. Now look what the Jews say. You are not 50 years old, they said, and you have seen Abraham?
Read John 20.
Hold on. Jesus didn't say he saw Abraham. He didn't say I saw Abraham. So they twist his words. You are not 50 years old, they said, and you have seen Abraham? Now look what he says. Very truly I tell you, Jesus answered, before Abraham was born, I am. And then they picked up stones to stone him. Jesus saying, before Abraham was born, I was always prophesied as the Messiah. And that's exactly how Matthew and Mark and Luke interpret it. Did you know that? So Matthew records Jesus as saying, many will come in my name, claiming, I am the Messiah, and will deceive many. Yes?
Okay.
So many will come in his name, claiming what?
That they're the Messiah.
They're the Messiah. All right, let's go to the same passage in Luke. Luke records the same thing, but he has Jesus saying, watch out that you are not deceived, for many will come in my name, claiming, I am, and the time is near. Do not follow them. The English has I am he, but there's no he in the Greek. So in Luke, Jesus says, many will come in my name, claiming, I am. What does it mean to claim I am, according to Matthew? They will come and say, I am, just like Jesus said, I am.
Yes. So what's the point?
Right here. So then to claim to say I am is to say I am the Messiah, correct?
To say I am is the title of God. And
so then Matthew got it wrong. So did Matthew get it wrong? Because he's saying many will come and say I am the Messiah.
Context is king. Saying the words I am as a response to someone asking something. Hey, are you the Messiah? Yeah, I am. In Greek, ego eimi, that's what I am is. That's what you would say. But within the context, that drives the understanding. When Jesus says, well, before Abraham was, I am. Oh, that's different. That's a divine claim within the context of how Jesus is speaking. Jesus uses the Greek phrase ego eimi, I am, the same phrase used in the Greek Old Testament in Exodus 3 verse 14, where God reveals his name to Moses, I am who I am. But first, let's take a look at what some Muslim scholars claim about this verse, and then some church fathers, and then we'll look at the verse exegetically. Reza Aslan, a Muslim historian, writes, this is a clear reference to the divine name in Exodus. He doesn't believe the claim, but he admits that's what the gospel is saying. Mahmoud Ayoub, one of the most respected Muslim theologians, acknowledges John 8 verse 58 points to Jesus' claim of pre-existence and divinity. Again, he doesn't believe it, but he says that's what it's claiming. Sayyid Ahmad Khan, an Indian Muslim reformer, said, Jesus of John claims eternal existence. This is clearly a divine claim. Now, hey, maybe the Orthodox Muslim is smarter than these scholars. Who knows? But I'm not citing these men to prove Jesus is God. I'm citing them to prove that even honest Muslim scholars can admit what the gospel says, even if they don't believe it. So the only question left is whether the gospel is trustworthy. But let's not pretend Jesus wasn't claiming something divine. Your problem isn't with Christians misreading the text, it's with the text itself. So either you think you're smarter than scholars like Ayoub and Ahmad Khan, or you're just avoiding the obvious because it challenges your theology. Now let's talk about the church fathers, those closest to the apostles. Irenaeus said Jesus used I am to identify himself as the one who spoke to Moses in the burning bush. Now that's Yahweh, not a prophet. Tertullian said this wasn't just pre-existence, it was divine identity. Athanasius used John 8 verse 58 to refute heretics like the Arians, showing that Jesus is eternal and uncreated. Augustine said Jesus didn't say, I was, but I am, to show that he is the eternal present, without beginning, without end. Not one of them said this was just about messianic prophecy. Not one of them reduced this to Jesus was expected. They all knew he was exalted. Remember, Jesus didn't say before Abraham was, I was foretold. He said before Abraham was, I am. And the Jews knew exactly what he meant. They didn't pick up stones because he claimed to be a prophet. They picked up stones because he claimed to be God. Jesus uses the Greek phrase ego eimi, I am, the same phrase used in the Greek Old Testament in Exodus 3 verse 14, where God reveals his name to Moses, I am who I am. Jesus is not pointing to a timeline, he's pointing to a title. Now, the Orthodox Muslim tries to point to Matthew 24 verse 5 and Luke 21 verse 8, ignoring the context and trying to justify how these passages only depict Jesus as the Messiah, but context changes everything. In Matthew 24 verse 5, the phrase is, I am the Christ. Now, Jesus is warning about false messiahs. That's not the same as saying before Abraham was, I am. In Luke 21 verse 8, Jesus warns about imposters saying, I am. But again, they're claiming identity, not eternal pre-existence. In John 8, the Jews ask, you're not even 50. Have you seen Abraham? Now, Jesus doesn't say, Abraham had a vision of me. He says, before Abraham was, I am. Not I was, not I was expected, not I was promised. I am. That's why the Jews picked up stones. That's why the church fell to its knees in John 18, verse 5 to 6. It's easy to try and claim that the Jews just simply misinterpreted him, misunderstood him, and that's why they picked up stones. What you're actually saying is, they heard what everyone else is hearing. They heard what the church fathers are saying, that, yeah, this is a claim to divinity. He's claiming he is the I am. Even Muslim scholars who are honest read this and see that this is a claim of divinity. So either you're right, and they picked up stones because they misheard or misunderstood him in claiming that he is God, so they're going to stone him, or you're wrong, and the church fathers, Muslim scholars, Christian scholars, proper exegetical reading, all of that's right, and he did claim he is the I am. If you want to support the channel, like this video, drop a comment because that will get the algorithm just going. Let's get this video in front of more people because a lot of Christians face this response when they bring up this verse about Jesus. You can also take my apologetic course or you can buy Christian merchandise on my website. Peace out.